Hey my beautiful souls, welcome back to Finding with Jessie, the life coach. I hope everybody has been well. I hope everybody has been fine. And as I always say, if you're in a space that seems dark, things don't seem to be going well, in time things will improve, so just be patient. So my beautiful souls, today we are going to be discussing signs that you are in a karmic relationship. So this is the thing with karmic relationships. Once you are in them, they're so hard to tell that you are in cycles. You know, people get so deep down attached to these relationships and attached to outcomes that it becomes hard to break away. And the thing is with karmic relationships, you know, how long we stay in them is always our choice, right? We always have that choice. We always have the choice whether we stay in something, whether we leave it, how long we stay attached to it, and you know, how quickly we are able to let it go. And when you're not able to release a karmic partnership, you hold yourself back. You hold your evolution back. You hold back that opportunity to get towards and get closer towards the person you're meant to spend, you know, your life with, right? And I want everybody to go towards healthy partnerships and their life partnerships. So today I'm going to be sharing some signs to help you identify if you are stuck in a karmic relationship. Okay? So sign number 1 is one of the biggest signs when you know you're in a karmic partnership is the breakup to make up. Getting back together, pushing each other away, sucking each other back in. Every karmic relationship, there's the breakup to make up. There's the push and pull, right? There's the up and down, back and forth, right? You can't just let each other go. You can't leave one another alone. You keep coming back and forth, right? You just can't let go. So if you are identifying that within your partnerships, or you have had a history of that, those are karmic relationships. Number 2 is going to be a combination of codependency and control. So in any healthy dynamic, you are not going to see codependency or control in your union. But when you're dealing with a karmic relationship, you're going to see a lot of that. Now, codependency can rear itself in many different forms and many different ways. The main ways that you'll see codependency manifest in karmic relationships is going to be all about, you know, being attached to the partner so much that you don't let them have their freedom. You don't let them have autonomy to make decisions on their own. There's going to be like a huge entanglement, like your friends are their friends, and everywhere they go you need to go, and everywhere they're going you need to know about, and when they're out without you, you're calling 55,000 times just to check up on them, right? Or you pop up where they're at, right? So there's a form of like, you can't be without this person. You need to constantly be around them. And if you're not around them, you're not happy. And if you're not around them, you're constantly checking up on them to make sure that they're staying in alignment, that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Constantly checking up on them. So that's the main way that codependency and control rears its way in karmic relationships. But control in general in any relationship is not a good look. So anytime you have a partner that's trying to control you, control your decisions, control how you manage your money, control how you spend your time, and it's constantly about them, or you have sunk into a whole dynamic that your wants and needs are suppressed to make another person, your partner, happy. That's all about codependency. The third sign that you are stuck in a karmic relationship is all about communication. When you are in a karmic relationship, you do not communicate well. The both of you cannot seem to have normal discussions that lead to progression in the union. Now that leads me into my 4th way of identifying if you are in a karmic relationship, which is very intensified arguments. Like arguments that escalate up and up and up and up and up. If you are in a healthy partnership where you know how to communicate properly, arguments should not be escalating to the point that it's getting out of control, it's getting very passionate. It's getting, out of control. It's intensifying, right? There's a lot of rage. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of hurt feelings, emotions flying around, and it just, it gets out of control to the point that you're crossing boundaries and you're crossing lines with one another, right? So, that's one of the ways that you can really tell when you are in a karmic relationships. One of the things I mentioned in one of my last videos about karmic relationships is they're very passionate. They're very passionate. The two people are very passionate, and it's the thing that draws these two people together, right? The chemistry, the passion, the sex, it's like, oh my God, this is my person, right? That's the best way to describe it. And that passion can feel out of control. And usually one of the areas that it feels out of control in is in arguments, right? The arguments can get out of control and get out of hand really, really quick. So that's one way to really tell if you're in a karmic relationship. The fifth sign is all about mismatch values. So one thing, like I said, is all about passion. And when you are full of passion and you are full of chemistry and all those chemicals are going on in your body and all these signs are like, doom, 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 they're like spraying and flashing and shooting off in every direction. One thing that's not going with you is your logic. And you're not realizing that the person that you are involved with, you have no real foundation with. There's no core mutual understanding and agreement of your morals, your values, your integrity, right? There's no common foundation. And a lot of people don't realize this in the beginning because, like I said, they're going off of passion. And it takes a while for that passion to die down, right? A lot of people get infatuated with other individuals without getting to truly know them, right? And when you start to, get to know them and that infatuation starts to fade away, that's when you start realizing that you don't really have a foundation with this person that you are committed to. You start realizing that your values, your morals, your goals, your family systems, your belief systems, the things that really make up a partnership is completely opposite or is completely different, right? It's, opposition to one another. And that's really hard when you're trying to balance, a lifelong partnership. Because when you're talking about a lifelong partnership, you might want to have kids. You're bringing two families together. You might bringing two different family dynamics together. You're meshing your life together with this person. It's supposed to be forever. And if you don't have core values, right, about what you believe in about like loyalty and what you believe in about marriage and how you see a marriage to be or how you see a partnership to go and the things that you value and how to manage money and how you want to raise your kids and things of that sort, like real core systems and beliefs about your belief systems about how you want to live this life. When you don't have that, you don't have that union, there's no balance there, things fall apart very quickly. So that's one way to really tell if you are in a karmic relationships. And this is something that a lot of people don't really sit down to discuss. They don't really sit down to view. They don't really sit down to observe in another person because once again, they're going off of passion. They're going off of infatuation and not based off of love. The sixth sign to really know that you're in a karmic relationship is going to be the drain you feel. When you are in a karmic relationship, it is extremely, extremely exhausting. Your partner will drain you. You will drain one another. To be honest, you would drain one another, right? Because when you have a lot of fighting and a lot of breaking up to making up and your emotions are up and then they're down and then you love the person and then you hate the person and then you want to be by their side and you don't want to have nothing to do with them, like all of that back and forth, up and down, trying to figure out, are you for me, and trying to figure it out and constantly going through these cycles, it is extremely, extremely, extremely draining on your energy, on your emotions, and on your psyche. So that's one thing you're going to realize with a karmic relationship. It is very tiring. It's exhausting. It's draining. At times you're just like, why can't this ever be right? And it's because it's not meant to be right. It is not meant for you. It is meant to teach you. Not only can these relationships be emotional and psychologically draining, but they can be emotional and psychologically damaging to you the longer you stay in them, and depending how chaotic and upsetting this relationship can be. So these relationships can be very damaging to individuals on an emotional and psychological level. So that's also something to note. So one thing I did mention on my last video about karmic relationships, if you haven't checked that out, check that out, is about how tumultuous they are, right? Like I said, they're filled with a lot of up and down, anger and screaming and fighting and yelling and drama. It's drama, 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 and drama. And what keeps a lot of people stuck in these relationships, a lot of people ask me, well, if it's all full of drama, why people stay in them? Well, because there's always reinforcements. There's always a point where, someone is a little calm, or they'll give you what you want, or you're giving them what they want, to just try to breadcrumb, right? Hold on to the person, hold on to the relationship. Every time the person leaves, it's like, no, I'm gonna do better. No, I'm gonna give you what you want. No, right? And, so there are times that the relationship is filled with pleasantries, right? It's filled with reinforcement from, both sides, one side, however it is. But that keeps the relationship going. But it never ever stops the cycle. It never ever stops the anger, the tumultuous waves that people go through, the up and down, the emotional roller coasters, because that's what they feel like. When you are in a karmic relationship, you feel like you are in an emotional roller coaster, because you have another person, or the both of you need to learn core lessons. And since you're not learning them, you're not changing, you're not, growing from it, you're not creating action, or you are and the other person's not. And obviously you need two people to come together to actually pave the way for change. And if it's not happening, then there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings. So a big part of karmic relationships is having that tumultuous feeling of back and forth, up and down, fight, drama, arguments. The next one is going to be, you will notice in karmic relationships, there is a lot of addiction. There's two people or one person in the very least that is addicted to the chaos, addicted to the other person, addicted to the relationship. They do not want to let it go. They do not want to change it. They are just addicted to the chaos. So no matter how much you change things at times, it will revert back, because the person is so used to chaos within their relationships. A lot of people don't know what peace is in a relationship. And when they have relationships that become peaceful, they feel the need to stir up drama. They create the chaos and the drama because they don't know nothing else. They don't know what it is to be in peace with themselves. So what they do is they create it. They recreate a lot of chaos that they have lived in their life, a lot of traumatic situations that has happened in their life, and they come and create it in their relationships. So you will notice in karmic relationships, there is an addiction to chaos. So my next sign is all about the feelings that you will feel. You will notice when you are in a karmic relationship, there's this undoubting feeling of frustration. There's always a frustration. You're always frustrated that you're not getting what you want. You're always frustrated that the relationship is not what it needs to be. You're always frustrated that the relationship is not growing. You're always frustrated at how much work you got to put into this relationship. You're always frustrated that your partner doesn't get you, doesn't want to get you. You're always frustrated that your partner is always messing up. You're always frustrated. There's this underlining tone of frustration with the partnership. And it's because it's not what you want, right? But people, once again, like I've said before in other videos, people are afraid to let go of what no longer serves them. And there's many reasons why that happens. Sometimes it's afraid that they're not going to get something better, get someone better, get another relationship. It's just always surrounded by fear. There's always an underlining fear there about a lack. Like if I let this go, then I will get less. Or if I let this go, I won't get anything. Or if I let this go, I'm gonna be alone, right? All of that is thoughts of lack, and that's all based off of fear. You're stemming up fear in your head of something you don't even know if that's actually going to be true or not, right? So there's always an underlining tone of frustration with yourself, frustration with your partner, frustration with the whole dynamic, frustration of the way the whole dynamic is going, the cycles you're in. But a lot of people, like I said, even though they're frustrated, they won't let it go. And the biggest sign, hugest sign, it's like the red flags are just weaving in front of you when you are in a karmic relationship, is the feeling of pain. Healthy relationships do not have all this pain in them. It's the people who do not know how to love properly who cause the pain, not the relationship. So you'll notice in karmic relationships, there's always a lot of pain. We're not talking about a little bit. We're talking about a lot of pain. We're talking about pain from your partner not communicating well with you. We're talking about pain from your partner of mishandling you. We're talking about pain from a partner who's emotionally immature. You're talking about pain from a partner who keeps doing things to hurt you. Pain from a partner, there's so many pains, right? There's so many pains that one feels when you are in a karmic relationship and stuck in karmic cycles. There's always pain to these relationships because pain is what grows us. Pain, you need the pain there to push you, because if you did not feel the pain, you will stay where you are. So you'll notice in karmic relationships, not only are they painful, but the longer you stay in them, it's like the level keeps on going up and up and up and up, and it just gets to the point that it maximizes to the max to see if you are going to take the pain or you're going to jump out and just abandon the relationship and say, this is not for me. I deserve better. I deserve more. I don't want any more pain, right? You don't want any more pain. So the biggest sign when you are stuck in karmic relationships is going to be the pain that you are receiving from the partnership, the pain that you are receiving from this whole dynamic and this whole relationship and the cycle that is putting you in. Do not dismiss the pain. Something else you should never dismiss is your unhappiness. When you feel so frustrated and you know there's nothing that's changing in the relationship, it's time to evaluate your relationship and stop just taking words on and start looking at patterns and actions. Hold people accountable. So one of the reasons why people get stuck in karmic relationships, I see it all the time. Other people manipulating them and selling them dreams. Manipulation is the biggest, hugest form of psychological abuse. Do not undermine it and do not dismiss it. When someone's being manipulative to you, they are abusing you. And a lot of people need to see this clearly, right? They just look at the person that they're with and truly believe like this person can never harm me and hurt me. But if they're manipulating you, and a form of manipulation is telling you, I am going to do something, I'm going to get better, I'm going to give you what you want, and then I do not do it. I do not change my actions. I do not change my behavior. I have no intention of changing, right? Real change takes time. To change your core dynamic of yourself takes time. To disconnect from everything that you are attached to, programming, mindsets, thoughts, behaviors, right? Temptations, addictions, all of that takes time. We're talking about years, right? To change your whole core view or overlook of who you are. People cannot do that in a week. People cannot do that in a month. People cannot do that in 2-3 months. It takes time. It takes time to break habits, and it takes time to form them. So just know that. Stop letting people manipulate you into believing that they're changing, because what they're doing is abusing you, and people get stuck in these karmic relationships. Not only do they get stuck in them, but like I said, people are being extremely damaged by them. It's causing them major trauma in their life. And then when they release, finally, after years of being stuck in karmic relationships, and they start healing themselves, they have all these trust issues. And by the time someone amazing comes their way, like the blessing finally comes, they push it away. They're afraid of it. They're afraid to take that leap of faith, because now they are believing like everybody's like this person. Like, this is relationships, this is love, and it sucks, and I don't want it. And love has been unfair to me, and I gotta look out for myself. And people become really jaded with love, and it's because they stay too long attached to karmic relationships and people who are abusing them and mistreating them. And I said this in my last video about karmic relationships. They are only coming in to teach you the lesson. The quicker you learn the lesson and you start seeing things from a higher perspective, what has this come in to teach me? How can I grow from this situation? Right? And do not become jaded, and do not get lost. And you do not get lost in the feelings and the emotions of the whole dynamic, but you're strong enough to view past it and look at it with logic. You're going to be fine. Not just fall into the trap of looking at these situations just with your emotions. You also have to take your logic with you, and you also got to see things from your spiritual eyes, right? The spiritual eyes, the spiritual aspect is all about personal development, personal growth. What can I gain from this? How do I flip this? How do I make this work for me in my favor? Because that's what it's there to do. Is there to serve you. So let it serve you, embrace it. So hopefully, if you are in these dynamics, or you are prone to get sucked into these type of cycles, this could be a good blueprint for you to kind of evaluate, take with you, think about before you jump into your next relationship, right? Start looking at your relationship, your partnerships from a higher perspective. Look at it from an ego's viewpoint and say, is this the way I feel? Is this what's happening here? Oh my God, we just had our first makeup to break up. Let's make sure that this is not a pattern. And the way to break these cycles is early on, right? You get into a new relationship. You don't want it to be karmic. You don't want it to be filled with karmic drama. Lay down the law. I know it sounds crazy, but you know what? Have those hard discussions early on. Just have them. Everybody's afraid to actually communicate these days their needs and wants. You meet someone, you speak to them. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. This is where I want this connection to lead. Is that you? Tell me straight up, is that you? If it is not you, that's completely fine, right? Not every single connection is going to lead, it's not supposed to lead into a lifelong partnership and lifelong years wasted on an individual. So if you're just honest with people from the gate, from the jump, and have these hard discussions and be able to have hard discussions after you notice a pattern directly in your relationship, like if you have a breakup to makeup thing and you're discussing getting back together, then you discuss then and there. This is not going to be a pattern. If we get back together, this will be the last try. So we're going to make this count, and we're going to try to stop whatever maladaptive behaviors we have. And then you work it out, right? And then you have to stick to it. So if it comes again, that you come across the whole pattern again and you're ready to break up, then you have to hold yourself to that. I already said that this was going to be my boundary, right? If this happens again, we're not going to get back together. I'm going to let go of the relationship. Then you know what? Stick to that and let it go. And you'll be free of karmic relationships, and accumulating karmic debt within that relationship. Because what happens a lot of times when people do not let go of the relationship when it needs to be let go, not only do they endure trauma, pain, emotional and psychological abuse, right? Trust issues and all these other things that now they need therapy, and now they need coaching, and now they need counseling, and now they need healing from. But you also create more karma in your relationships. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in another video. But for now, my beautiful souls, I hope this video was helpful for you if this is the pattern you're in, or this is the situation you're stuck in, so you can see it clearly, right? Let go of what you need to let go of. You might have the bad patterns, you might have the bad behaviors. We're always constantly looking out. We need to look inward first. Make sure you're working on that, make sure you're correcting that, and make sure you are removing the karma from the relationship, or you remove the whole relationship altogether. And I will see you, my beautiful souls, in my next one. Kisses and smooches to you all. Bye.